All right, y'all. Let's talk about it. The accounting industry, especially the small business accounting industry, we getting a bad reputation out here, and I think we may deserve it. Now, not all of us, because right choice, we do our thing on this front, but I think a lot of us actually deserve it, but not for the reason that we think. So I'm gonna get into my thoughts on this, and I would love the comments on this because this is for small business owners. So if you know you're going through some of this stuff, let's just talk about it in the comments. So let me get into the video. Um, every industry is gonna have its good people, its bad people, and then between that, it's gonna be average people. Good sometimes, bad sometimes. More than anything, selfish. So I do think there's this third category that's really shown itself a lot since there's the social media gurus and coaches and all of these people that teach people just teaching people how to do everything. So there's always someone who has what we call an irresistible offer. And I think a lot of accountants are buying into some of the online marketing stuff, and it's causing people to do harm that don't really mean to do harm. Y'all, what I'm talking about is I think we might have some unintentional scammers. That's what I think really happened in that scale in small business accounting. I think we have some really well-intentioned people who have bought into some lessons, some learning, and that sort of thing that has them meant to, like, unintentionally just scamming the public. And like I say, unintentional, not even knowing they're doing it. Like, and the small business owners are feeling the pain of being scammed, and we got a whole industry of people who don't even realize they're doing something wrong. So let's get into it. And by the way, before I get too far, I'm Albert, or Albert the CPA, or Albert C. Hurston Jr., CEO, owner, founder of Right Choice Accounting, which I run with my amazing, immaculate, gorgeous wife, Lauren, and our amazing team. We're a full service accounting team. So a lot of the things that I'll talk about in this video are things that we literally talk about openly amongst the team so that we don't fall into any of these traps. So let me start by what I mean by unintentional scam or a well-intentioned scam, right? Most accountants are accounting nerds. You can all like see the picture in your mind of what that looks like. There is a specific profile, and I think all of us kind of fit it, if you just, for lack of better words. We're nerds, we're nerdy. I'm one of the few that actually doesn't mind communicating, so I stand out like a sore thumb. But for all intents and purposes, y'all, we accounting nerds. So we can sometimes be a little bit standoffish. So a lot of the training that we invest in is to how to market, how to communicate. So what makes it scammy is we learn marketing tactics, marketing tactics, tips, tricks, stuff like that. We're learning from people who may not have the integrity level that's required for our field, and that's why I think it kind of goes left. I think we have really good intentions to help people, but we also have the intentions to make money. And sometimes for, attorneys, accountants, like any of these highly specialized people, there isn't a clear path from delivering at a high level and making money. So what makes it a scam is when we start to implement some of these things that we're learning from coaches and gurus and marketers and these training things. We are literally learning to sell things that we can't deliver on, and it's killing our reputation because we think we're doing the right thing. We think these people that are teaching us how to sell it and what to sell and how we deliver it, we thinking they're teaching us right. So we learn the stuff, we delivering the stuff, and then our clients are they feeling the pain of not getting what they actually supposed to be getting. And what makes it a scam, I know I keep saying that, is the fact that we're saying we can deliver something that we righteously can't deliver. And you see, I'm of the industry, so I'm saying we, but it's not all of us. There are really people who step outside of this stuff, and right choice is one. Y'all need to correct me y'all need to hit me with the we, who is we? So it's not right choice particularly, but it's not because we haven't received the training, but because it's a team of us and we actually discuss stuff openly, right? So we have a team where people are going to be like, whoa, that don't really make sense. And I think that saves us from implementing a lot of the stuff that we learn because it goes against one of our core values, which is integrity, and another one, client first. So I kind of shift a lot of blame onto the online environment, the coaches, the gurus, because they don't lead with integrity. Again, attorneys have a duty to do no harm. Like, so you can't have someone who is held to a standard of doing no harm, learning from someone who has no standard at all. Like, get the money, get the money. Tell them what they need to hear, get the money. Sell them an irresistible offer, convince them, add value into the gap, get the money, get the money, get the money. And you know, when you have a highly technical, highly qualified, highly governed, these highly governed industries, you can't necessarily learn from like that. Because we get a lot of package your expertise. Don't you deserve to make more money? Hey, I know somebody who cleans pools who makes more money. Like, you should just offer advisory services. You should offer these services. Oh, you do taxes? You should add CFO services to bridge the gap in the revenue. And I'm going to show you how to do it. And as we there has to be like a subconscious thing where we actually know you can't just be shown how to become a CFO in a 6-week course. But, you know, we want to hear it, y'all. Like, most accountants would love to be the leader, the strategist, the CFO. Most accountants love that sort of thing. So it's easy to sell somebody it's easy to sell someone something that they want to be true. So I know I'm kind of going a while on why it's a scam, how it's a scam, how it happens. And this isn't to not accept any blame, because again, we have to all like know better. We have to hold ourselves accountable. But sometimes people position things as if it's the solution, it's data backed, it's tracked. So what I really feel is a lot of people are being convinced that they've learned the thing that they need to be doing for their clients, and the clients are like, nah, that ain't what we want. And then there's a back and forth because no one communicates openly. So I do think a lot of the confusion can come from that, really. I'm kind of just thinking about it as I talk about it. I think that's kind of like what happens here. You have an accounting industry who thinks they're doing the right thing, and you have a small business, you know, community who aren't getting what they need. And I do think the main culprits are, you know, bad actors as far as it comes to coaches, gurus, because everybody chasing their money, right? And when you get people chasing their money in the industry and actually driving, or what's the word I'm looking for? When you have like what can I think of it? When you have like authority, or like you can convince people to do what you say. What you call that? Thank you. When you have shout out to Chrissy for being here all the time. But you can't have those type of people influencing an industry that, you know, doesn't need to be influenced like that. The thing that we need to learn from our coaches, our gurus, is how to market our value, but we do not need to be learning what that value is. We already know that. We came to the table with that. So there is a big competence gap that nobody's really talking about in real world. There are people who think they can offer CFO services, believe it, who just don't have the training to do it. They don't understand big picture. They don't understand strategy. They don't understand what a small business owner needs from a fractional CFO. But their coach gave them a methodology and a framework. So now they have a framework that they're operating off of that makes them believe they're a CFO. And then again, you have the headbutt, because small business owners are still feeling the same pains, but they've hired a CFO. So when the CFO actually comes along, they're already skeptical because they've already hired someone, but it was really a well-intentioned, unintentional scammer. So it's kind of sad, but there are people who are completely unqualified, and they think they're qualified. So when you're telling them they're not doing their jobs, they can, with all full chest, as we say, with full chest, be like, yes, I am. And then the back and forth, because there's a mindset, there's a specific group of people who go into stuff like accounting, and there's this attitude, right? There's this, I know I'm smart, leave me alone, let me do my job. It's just the personality type that goes around. So when you have an accountant who feels like they know what they're doing, it's hard to convince them that they don't. So that's where I think it gets stuck. Instead of someone being able to be like, well, look, here's what I need you to be doing, and somebody being receptive to like, oh, well, no, I don't know how to do that. I didn't know that's what you needed. It's more of a, you not doing what you're supposed to do. Yes, I am. And then the communication drops, because now Both sides hate talking to each other. Both sides dread communicating. The accountant's not responsible because they don't want to talk to you no more. And the client only reaches out when they need something because they don't want to talk to you either. And that all comes from a miscommunication, a competence gap, people thinking they selling stuff, or people selling stuff that they think they're delivering that they're not truly delivering. So it's more of a they don't know what they don't know. So let's get to your point in this, because I know I'm talking to mostly small business owners. So here's how you protect yourself, right? You protect yourself by first and foremost, you gotta know who you're working with. You got to know if you're working with a bookkeeper who keeping all your stuff organized. You got to know if you're working with an accountant who can actually maybe organize and interpret it to you in a way that you understand. You got to know if you're working with a CPA. A CPA is the highest license that you can get in the accounting industry. And we're held to a little bit of a higher standard than everybody else. What you know when you're working with a CPA is this is a competent professional. Now, it doesn't tell you about integrity, it doesn't tell you about some of the other stuff, but it does tell you that you're working with someone competent. You got to know if you're working with a CFO, because there are a lot of people who say they're a CFO and they're selling bookkeeping and accounting services at CFO prices. If you're paying $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, you're paying fractional CFO or full service pricing, and you got to make sure that you're actually getting what that means. You can't just take people's word for it. You have to educate yourself so that you know what you're supposed to get, and knowing what you're supposed to get allows you to call out what you're not getting. So I'm gonna always say protect yourself first, or CYA. We big at Right Choice on CYA, you know what I'm saying? So you also have to know what done looks like. You don't need to know how to do it, but you need to know what it looks like when it's done. I learned that back in corporate, right? I was doing a project for a CEO, and we were talking about it, and I was busy, so I had a lapse, right? So we do these thing called accrual journal entry. So at the end of the month, just for financial reporting purposes, you need to accrue all of the salaries so that the stakeholders, the investors, can see how much the salaries are for the month. And then on the first, you go back and reverse them out, and you wait on the actual payroll thing to hit. So me trying to go quickly, I was like, well, since it goes in and goes out, I'm going to just skip it this month and I'll catch it up next month. I completely missed, and this was, again, y'all, this was corporate, and I was already high level. Again, this is me and the CEO talking back 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I'm in a meeting with a CEO, and I'm just like, yeah, man, since it's going to clear, we'll just skip it this month because, capacity, blah, 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 blah. And he looked at me, he was like, Albert, that's not how it works. And I was like, yeah, no, it goes in and comes back out. He was like, why does it go in? And then when he said, why does it go in? I was like, for the accurate reporting for the month. But if he didn't know that, it would have went to investors. It would have went to higher stakeholders. He didn't know that. He wouldn't have been able to hold me accountable because he didn't know how to go do the journal entry. He didn't know how to build an accrual. He knew it needed to be there. You know what I'm saying? So that's what done looks like. And that's what every single leader of anybody has to know. You don't have to be the practitioner to know what it should look like when it's completed. And you really, really protect yourself by knowing that level. And the biggest reason, well, those could be the biggest reason. I'll just say another reason is you really have to ask for specifics. You have to ask people what they've done. You have to ask people what they know. You have to ask people what their credentials are. You cannot just buy offers because anybody can build an offer, package it, market it. That's what the social media gurus, online coaches and stuff have taught people. They've taught them how to build offers, package them, and sell them. You have to ask those questions to actually drive down and get into the point of, do you actually know how to deliver this thing? If you're saying you're full service, do you have an actual team that supports you? Crystal, can you come here? Can y'all just poke y'all head so they just know, like, we're here in the office. I'm here with a team. Everybody's in here working on something and listening to me talk because they know I may throw it to them. But you ain't got to poke your whole body, just your head, just so you know Crystal a real person. Rachel, these are real people. And I know if you know anything about us, Lauren's in the office over there. We got more team out here, but you're going to typically hear me throw into Crystal, Lauren, or Rachel because they're their leadership. So you'll hear me talking to them around here. But if you don't have people who are leaders of specific things, you can't be full service. Because there's no way I could be the best tax strategist, the best bookkeeper, the best accountant, the best tax preparer, the best payroll.
I can teach all that stuff, I can oversee all that stuff, but I could not deliver on all that stuff. So you need to be asking, well, who's on your team? How many people? What does everyone do? Will I get to meet them? Are y'all remote? Do y'all work in office? Like, you got to know this stuff so you can make a really well-informed decision, because it's sad, y'all, it's the wild, wild west. You can kind of, sort of, at this point, say that you do anything, and there's no real repercussion for lying. And that ain't just small business, if you know what I mean. You just lie on anybody. Lie on anybody with no repercussion. So, I hope this all makes sense. This isn't me trying to drag anybody. This ain't me calling anybody out. I really just want to help everybody understand each other, because when you have people who are doing the wrong thing, thinking they're doing the right thing, it is harder to convince them that no, that right thing you think you're doing is actually wrong. And again, that goes outside of business as well. But I'm not on that. I'm not trying to tear anybody down, hold anybody down. I just want people to understand what's going on. I want people to be able to communicate better. Like, if you dealing with an accountant and you know you like this accountant and they fit your culture and blah, 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 but you just not getting what you need, like, ask some of these questions. Like, man, what's your background? What are you good at? Because maybe it's a conversation of supplementing them with something they're not good at that you also need, instead of, like, just being on set, firing them, and having, like, this idea that the market, the industry is just messed up. Right choice clients do not complain like that. You know what I'm saying? Because we actually do care about communications. When balls are dropped, we fix it. You know what I mean? We don't avoid, we over communicate. We do all of these things because of what we hear out in the market. But we do hear it loud and clear. Like, we've had people are like, man, the accounting industry is messed up. Anybody got a good CPA? And we've been tagged several times, and we've seen people just literally arguing with really warm referrals from our clients because they're so scarred and bruised from working with people. Like, we had somebody who didn't want to work with us because we in Georgia. She's like, man, I've worked with CPAs in Georgia before. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's getting to a point to where the whole is making all of the individuals look bad, and we need to stop that. We all, as a whole, need to stop that. We all need to kind of stay in our lanes. We all need to make sure that we're doing what we're good at, and we're openly communicating what we're not good at, because lying about what you can do and you can't do it does not get you more money. It gets you kicked out of the industry. It ruins your reputation. You may get more money today, but you won't have that money for a year from now. But if you really lock in on what you are good at, and again, this ain't just accounting, it's all of us, y'all. If you really lock in on what you're good at and the stuff you're not good at, you figure out a solution, you supplement that. If you're an accountant, hit up Right Choice, because we do it all. So whatever you do, you can maybe partner with us to have the rest done. You sell it. Like, there are ways to get around it, but this lying about what you're capable of, it just destroys everybody, especially for serious business owners. So I know that's my 2-3 cents on that. I know all these videos been light, but I do want to be serious about that. Like, it's a very real issue with people saying our industry's trash, because all of us aren't trash. So if we're powerful enough to affect each other, we need to be aware enough to protect each other, I'll just say. So I guess that's it. I don't think either side really deserves everything that's happening. I think everybody's being misled. I think it's a lot of uneducated people. I think it's accountants who think they can do more than they can do, or I shouldn't say think, who believe. I don't think it's just as direct as people offering services they can't deliver. I think they believe they can deliver the service, and there's nobody to check them. There's no review. There's nothing to hold them accountable. So they probably think they're doing a good job. And then I feel with my small business community, Jesus. Like, yeah, we need the service that we pay for. Don't forget, I'm both. Y'all know I'm an accountant and I'm a small business owner. And nowadays, I'm probably more business owner than accountant. Chrissy do her thing with making sure that Right Choice Accounting is good. I don't have to do as much. So I understand both sides. And I think it's way more of a miscommunication than anything else. So that's it, y'all. I guess I'm going to go ahead and take this one to the bridge. I'll show my age, take it to the bridge. Anyways, if you ever feel like something was off with your accounting relationship, but you couldn't quite put your hand on it, now you do have somewhere to start. It's those questions. What do you do? What's your background? What are you good at? What are your results? You start there. That'll answer all the questions you need as a small business owner. And I think that'll probably increase all of your relationships with accountants, because you'll get to leave the trash where it's at, and you may be able to find some actual gold out here, or some diamonds in the rough, I'll say. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Subscribe, comment, hit the bell. What did you say, Crystal? They hit the bell?
Yeah, hit the bell so you know every single time we post a video.
Apparently there's a bell y'all need to be hitting. Hit it. But any feedback, comments, anything like that, go ahead, drop those. I like open communication. You may even get a video response on this channel. So yeah, that's it, y'all. I'm gonna talk to y'all soon, and enjoy the rest of your day.